Hi everyone, this is HM&S video number 50 and you are most welcome for it. We are still exploring the lookup functions in Excel. Today we are going to talk about one of the amazing lookup functions in Excel called the switch function. The switch function can also look up very many things. It can look up text, numbers, define names, array, functions, and many other things. Now last video we talked about how to use the choose function and we saw how easy it was to use the choose function. But the switch function that we are going to see today has some advantages over the choose function. Let's switch on to Excel and we dive deeper into how to use the switch function. Now this is the weekly sales example that we saw last video. We did this one using the choose function as you can see from here. But I want you to realize something. The index number argument of the choose function only allows numbers. So you cannot put text on the index number argument. So if you want to look up something which is text, you need to first find a way of linking it to some number. Then you use that number on the index number argument of the choose function. Now the switch function exists to solve that very problem. So I'm going to hit escape. Now let's scroll up and we start seeing this ladies party example here. I have this table here. It has the names of ladies and the region where they come from. Down here, I also have another table which is acting as our guide. So when someone is from northern region, the person needs to be served pork. And when someone is from eastern region, she needs to be given chicken. And when she is from central region, she needs to be given beef. So we're going to come to this food column here, and then we look up region, and we assign the corresponding food depending on the region. So let me click on this column here, and we are going to use the switch function. So I'm going to do equals to switch. When I see it highlighted in blue, I'm going to hit tab to select it. The switch function has these arguments here. The first one is the expression. Now this expression is actually where we're going to put our lookup value. Then it has the value 1 and then the corresponding result 1. And then the next argument is default or value 2. And then you give it the result 2. And it goes on like that. Now this is how it works. We are going to put the lookup value on the expression argument. And if the lookup value matches what's on value 1, then the switch function will give us what's on result 1. Or it will use what's on result 1. If the lookup value matches what's on value 2 argument, then the switch function will give us what's on result 2. Or it will use result 2 argument here. And if the lookup value matches what's on value 3 argument, then the switch function will give us what's on result 3. So it goes on like that. Now for expression, you can put there text or number. For our case here, we are using text. So our expression is going to be the region. So I'm going to click on the first region here. And then comma. Now for value 1, we need to put in these regions here. Now you can add code it on the arguments there, or you can refer to it using cell reference. First of all, let's start by add coding it there on our formula. So anytime you're putting a text in a formula, you need to put it in double quotes. So I'm going to open quotation. Let's start by northern region. So I'm going to type there northern and then close quotation. That one is actually our value 1. So I'm going to do comma. Now if the lookup value or the value you put on the expression argument matches what's on value 1, then the switch function need to give us pork. So I'm going to open quotation and type there pork. And then I'm going to close my quotation. Now we are done with value 1 and then result 1. So I'm going to do comma. Now it's saying default or value 2. Now since we still have other things to put there, we're going to use value 2. So for value 2, the region is eastern. So I'm going to open quotation and type there eastern and then close quotation. And then comma. If the expression matches what's on value 2, then you need to give us open quotation, chicken, and then close quotation. And then comma. Now we are going to value 3. For value 3, that one is going to be central. So open quotation, central, close quotation. So if the expression matches what's on value 3, which is central, and then you need to give us for the result 3, open quotation, beef. Then I'm going to close my quotation. I simply need to close my bracket. Now let's go through this. Our expression is going to be the region. So if the region which is put on the expression matches what's on value 1, then we are telling the switch function to give us what's on result 1. If the expression matches what's on value 2, then we are telling the switch function to give us what's on result 2. And if the expression matches what's on value 3, then we are telling the switch function to give us what's on result 3. That's how the switch function works. So I'm going to control enter and then copy my formula down. Now you can see it's actually working very well. Now we have hard-coded our values and then results on our formula. But you don't actually need to hard-code everything like that. You can actually use cell reference. So let's see how to do that. I'm going to click on this cell here and do equals to switch. When I see it highlighted in blue, I'm going to hit tab to select it. Now for the expression, that one is still going to be our region. So I'm going to click on the first one here and then comma. Now when it comes to value 1, I want the first region here. So instead of typing it there, I'm simply going to click on the first one here. Now since we are going to copy our formula down, I'm going to lock it using the F4 key and then comma. For the result 1, we need POC, so I'm going to click on POC, F4 to lock it. Now I'm going to hit comma to go to default or value 2 or to go to value 2. Now for value 2, we want Eastern, so I'm going to click on the Eastern, hit the F4 key to lock it. If the expression matches what's on value 2, and then comma, we need result 2, which is going to be chicken, so I'm going to click on chicken, F4 to lock it, and then comma to go to value 3 or the default. So for value 3, I'm going to go for central. I'm going to click on central, F4 to lock it, and then comma. Then for result 3, it's going to be beef. So I'm going to click on beef, F4 to lock it, and then I'm going to close my bracket. So when I control enter, and then I'm going to copy my formula down. You can see it's actually working very well. Now let's do it one more time. I'm going to click on this cell here and do equals to switch, tab to select it. For the expression, that one is still going to be our region. So I'm going to click on this first region here and then comma. Now for value 1, let's use cell references here. So I'm going to click on northern, hit the F4 key to lock it. So if the expression matches what's on value 1, comma, we need for result 1, POC. So I'm going to click on POC, F4 to lock it, and then comma to go to default or value 2. Now, this one is saying default or value 2. If you have only one other thing left to put in, you can simply put the result on the default without putting value 2. But since we still have 2 more regions to go, let's first use value 2. So I'm going to click on Eastern for value 2, F4 to lock it, and then comma to go to result 2. I'm going to click on chicken, F4 to lock it. Now watch what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to hit comma. Now this time around I have only one region left. So instead of putting it on value 3 and then I give it result 3, I'm simply going to put the result on the default argument. You can see it saying default or value 3. So what's supposed to be on the result, we are simply going to put it on the default, and that's going to be beef. So I'm going to click on beef and hit the F4 key to lock it. So I'm going to close my bracket. Now what I'm doing here, let me first click it. What I'm doing here is like this. If the expression matches what's on value 1, we are telling the switch function to give us what's on result 1. And if the expression matches what's on value 2, we are telling the switch function to give us what's on result 2. And if the expression matches any other thing apart from what's on value 1 and what's on value 2, then give us what's on the default. So any other thing apart from what's on value 1 and what's on value 2, the switch function will actually give us what's on the default. So when I control enter and then I copy my formula down, you can see it's actually working very well. And we can see for central region, like for example this one here, it has actually picked for us the beef which we have put in the default. So it's actually working very well. So that's actually how the switch function works. So let's scroll down and we see the second example. Now this is the weekly sales example that we saw last video. We have the week here and then the sale. On week 1, the sales was $10,000. On week 3, the sales was $15,000. And then on week 4, it was $35,000. So we want to come down here and using the switch function, if this cell here is showing average, we want the switch function to calculate for us the average. And if this cell here is showing highest, we want the switch function to calculate for us the highest sale. And if this cell here is showing lowest, we want the switch function to calculate for us the lowest cell. Now, the same thing we did last video using the choose function here, as you can see. If you didn't watch that video, you can look for it, HM&S video number 49, and then you follow along how we did it using the choose function. So escape, I'm going to click on this cell here. Currently, you can see we're having IS, so I'm going to do equals to switch, tap to select it. Now the expression is going to be whatever is on this cell here, so I'm going to click on it, comma. Now when it comes to value 1, we want the average, so I'm going to click on average, or you can also add code it there, and then comma. Now when it comes to result 1, we are going to calculate the average, so I'm going to do average. When I see the average function highlighted, I'm going to hit tab to select it. I want the average of these cells here, and then close my bracket on the average function. So when I hit comma, it will go to default or value 2. Now for value 2, I want the IS, so I'm going to click on IS, and then comma. When it comes to result 2, I want the switch function to calculate for me the IS cell. So the function that I'm going to use is called the large. Tab to select it. The large function needs the array and then the k. So for the array, I'm going to simply highlight my cells like this, and then comma. Now for the k, I'm going to give it 1. Now if you give k 2, it will give you the second largest. If you give it 3, it will give you the third largest. But since I want the largest, I'm giving k 1. So I'm going to close my bracket on the large function, and then comma to go to default or value 3. Now from here, you can simply use the default and then you calculate the lowest. But in order for us to understand very well, I'm going to use value 3 here also. So for value 3, I'm going to click on lowest, and then comma. When it comes to result 3, I'm going to calculate the lowest cell using the small function. Tab to select it. It also needs the array and the k. So for the array, I'm going to highlight my cells like this, and then comma. For k, I also want the smallest cell, so I'm going to give it 1. Again, for small function, when you put k to be 2, it will give you the second smallest, and when you put k to be 3, it will give you the third smallest. Now since I also need the smallest, I'm going to give k 1, and then I'm going to close my bracket on the small function, and then close my bracket on the switch function. So when I hit enter, you can see currently the cell is having IS. That's why it's giving us the IS cell. But when I come here, then I type average. When I hit enter, it will give me the average cell. You can see even the choose function is working. So when I come here, let's try lowest. When I hit enter, pause the choose, and then the switch. They are all giving us the same result. So that's how you use the switch to look up functions. Yeah, that is it for this particular video here. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. And if you found this video interesting, give it a like, and then you share it with your friends. This is a playlist that's having all the lookup values that we have talked about. You can click on it, then you go and watch them. Until next video, HM&S video number 51, then we meet again. Thank you.